Hello, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. Today we'll be talking about politics. I have to touch on it a little bit. I put Nikki Haley, Gavin Newsom up here with President Trump because I believe that, we know Nikki's running, but I believe Gavin Newsom will put his hat in the ring. But I have a rant that I put on my phone that I'm going to play for you, and hopefully it comes out well. But I mean, none of these candidates are candidates that I would ever pick for president. Where's the legendary people? How could Trump be such a front runner? I have my issues with Nikki Haley, and I'm gonna put those out there. I have my issues with Gavin Newsom as well. I'm gonna let my rant say it, and I'm gonna share some of that. But first, here's one of my problems with Gavin Newsom. I'm gonna show you a letter that's seemingly on his letterhead. Now, this days of the internet, I have to put a caveat as to whether it's true or not, because if it's a lie, I would imagine he would have went after whoever put it out there. But this is the AB Assembly 957, where where the state can take away kids from their parents just because the parents don't agree with them trying to be transgenders underage. It's a most horrific thing I've ever heard. And Gavin Newsom refuses to veto it or sign it. This guy can't be president just because of that. But let me show you the letter. I'm gonna show it for a little while, and you can read it for yourself. But I'm gonna just go ahead and share it. Now you can decide whether you agree with it or not, but that's not gonna be up to me. I'm gonna share it. I want to make sure it's showing. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna scroll through it a little slowly so you guys can see it and read it on your own. So here's the first part, and you can play it again. So I'm not gonna spend too much time scrolling it. I made the letters big so you can see it. So I'm gonna go paragraph by paragraph. I'll give you a little time to screenshot it, do whatever you have. But read this horrendous legislation from the assembly. What you have to ask is, how can a group of people in an assembly made up of parents and other people actually put some bullshit like this out? I'm serious. In California, how can this actually be put on front of the governor's desk for him to sign it? Now, I don't give him any grace for not being man enough to veto some bullshit like this. And this is being talked about, but it's not being shouted out enough. Can you imagine? Because your 5-year-old says, a boy says, I want to play with a doll, and you don't agree with that shit. He could tell a teacher, and then they could come take your children away from you. Think about this. Just think about how horrendous just the thought process of this is. How can this be? Right? So they got his signature here. I don't know if this is real or not. Let's assume that if his letterhead is there and he signed it, it's real, because he should have some kind of thing refuting this. But let's just put it on with the new day and age. This could be a meme. This could be so I'm not vouching for this letter. All I'm saying is, if it's real, he can't be president. If it's real, he can't be president. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing this, and let's go ahead and move on. And then I'm gonna play my little rant, right? And forgive me for the quality of it and all that kind of stuff, because I can't vouch for that, because this is going to be a copy of a copy. It's on my phone, and I can't say it again better. So I'm gonna just play my phone, and there's some bad language in there. So bear with me a little bit. If you're an adult, you should be able to take this. So here goes. Here's the rant. I'm gonna let you listen to it. You and Gavin Newsom, Nikki Haley candidate thing for presidency, and why are our politicians so horrible? On one hand, Nikki Haley needed to be saved by Chris Christie, and how can she be president if she can't handle herself under a verbal attack from a man. And then secondly, you know, her and what's more important, all she's thinking about is sending your sons, your fathers, your uncles, your brothers into war to die at the hands of some ideologue bullshit. Do you understand? We can't put her in office because she's going to advocate for the death of your sons because she's going to send them into war. And the war, nobody's going to understand what the fuck we're doing there. So we can't put her in office. And then you got Gavin Newsom, who's a Democrat, who's a liberal, anything goes Democrat, who signed into legislation taking away your
He
children
didn't sign it. He
because you
didn't
don't
sign
want
it.
your children to have hormone replacement therapy
Just be
when they
clear, he
can't even
didn't sign it.
fucking vote. So if you don't affirm their gender, they could take your children away from you. Can you imagine some fucking law like that? Why? Look at all the people leaving California. Look at all the homelessness. Look at all the debauchery and crime, death. How can this guy run for president? A slick-haired, shyster-looking dude, who think he can smile and get loosen himself into the White House. Now, he ain't saying he's running yet, but there's no doubt he's throwing his head into the pot when in 2024, and you can't blame him for that because what's there because Biden is a non-starter. Biden's a non-starter. So I'm telling you, man, why are our politicians who want to run this country so absolutely, and I gotta say it, fucked up? Where are the legendary leaders? And it seems like there are none. Nowhere. Black, white, indifferent. There's just none. I mean, how could Trump be the front runner of anything? I mean, not because, you might have a policy or two that you can get behind. It's just because he's not conducive as a guy who should be leading the nation because of all the allegations, whether he's guilty or not. We all know inherently that the guy has baggage that should goddamn, you know, eliminate him from a chance to be in the Oval Office again. But it's not. He's front running. That just tells you how bad the field is. It's incredible. It's really incredible. It's sad. It's incredible and it's sad. Okay, over and out.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say a couple things before I go. Just some correction. Gavin Newsom didn't sign this thing into law, but he didn't deny it either. He didn't say he's running. But I mean, how many context clues do you need to know that he's gonna put his hat in the ring? And if he doesn't, great, because he doesn't deserve to be president either. Right? So we don't have any viable candidates that we could pick from. And I think we should be looking for a third party candidate. We should be, all the people who are in the middle, on the fence, who can decide presidencies and could decide office. We should reject everybody that's up there. And we should try to find common ground across racial lines, religious lines, economic lines for people who want real change, real America. Where's our peace dividend, for example? When's the last time you even heard the term peace dividend? Where's our high-speed rails? Where's our endeavor into technology? Where's our investment into our children? Where's the people talking about bringing families back? Well, how come the fatherless child epidemic is not even being spoken about at the highest levels? I mean, our country all the men want to be women. All the women want to be men. Not all, but too many. Too many. Not all, but too many people don't even want to be who they are anymore. I mean, we had this great country, this great experiment. What's going on? Well, listen, there's more to come.
I just say as for a separate issue that black people in general, we've long since give the Democrats more than they worth. We need to move on. We need to throw our hats in the ring, and we if we have to be the charge of a new party of not blacks, none of the blackity black stuff that's for Americans. Americans. That's what we are. Sometimes we lose sight of that. We're Americans. I don't give a shit what our past is. We're Americans now. We need to take ownership of our piece of the country, and we should start talking about none of this goddamn victimization stuff. We should be talking about how we should do better for all Americans moving forward, and we'll get whites, we'll get Asians, we'll get Hispanics who are thinking the same way. No more victimization. How do we get past all this debauchery and all this bullshit that's going on? Anyway, our Penny, marriage, politics, and sports. Over and out.